Open-world games have existed for more than 4 decades. Yeah, that's way longer than most of us have been around. And let's be honest, they've evolved a lot since the early days of adventure on the Atari 2600. Fast forward to now, and we're exploring digital worlds so detailed they almost feel alive. Stick around, because we're diving into 26 of the most incredible ones right here. Elden Ring is an easy choice for nearly every gamer. This masterpiece is something truly on another level. It refined the From Software formula, brutal combat, hidden secrets, and cryptic storytelling. Its lore runs deep, its level design feels razor sharp, and instead of buckling under all that ambition, it absolutely soared. You crawl out of a dark cave and step into the vast lands between. No flashy markers, no glowing trail telling you where to go. Just a colossal golden tree towering in the distance. And that constant sense that everything out there wants to destroy you. But you keep moving, and slowly, this massive connected world begins to open up around you. Every inch feels intentional. Nothing is random. One moment you're discovering an ancient village buried beneath the earth. The next, you're wading through a toxic lake filled with the remains of, you might stumble onto a forgotten cult's ruins, or solve a tower puzzle that unlocks far more than it first suggests. And just when you were convinced you aged it but seen every corner of the map, boom. The game hits you with an entirely new region you didn't even know existed. Combat still carries that classic Souls-like flavor, brutal yet balanced. But now you've got so many new ways to fight back. Magic, stealth takedowns, horseback duels, and that incredible sense of vertical exploration all come together perfectly. The freedom flows right into how you choose to play. And that's what makes Elden Ring's world feel so hypnotic. It's open but tightly built. Every step leads to something worth finding. Tell me what do you think? Alright, let us move on. It is time to step into the bright and breathtaking world of Pandora. This place looks every bit as stunning as Udumbuff. Expect from something inspired by the Avatar films. In Frontiers of Pandora, you take on the role of Ana Vi venturing through the western frontier, a region overflowing with life, color, and danger. The game perfectly recreates the movie's magic. Towering trees, glowing plants, and that signature mix of deep greens and radiant blues. When it comes to gameplay, it's a first-person adventure focused on pure exploration and survival. You'll have to blend in with nature itself, using stealth, quick thinking, and smart tactics to outwit the RDA forces. The story focuses on rediscovering your roots and defending Pandora from human greed, staying true to the series' powerful theme: humanity. S destruction versus the planet. S harmony. It may not reinvent the open world formula, but it's a hidden gem that deserves way more attention than it gets. Now shifting gears.
You in trouble? Do you need...
Because Marvel's Spider-Man swings in next with one of the most authentic recreations of New York City ever built. It delivers a truly living, breathing, open world. The experience is pure freedom. As Peter Parker, you glide through the skyline with the web swinging so fluid, it turns simple movement into an art form. Combat, it hits hard, mixing slick acrobatics, clever gadget use, and that signature Spidey reflex to make every fight feel alive. There are side quests and collectibles, sure, but they actually blend naturally into the flow, never feeling like repetitive filler. This game sets a new standard for superhero titles, combining a gripping story, smooth gameplay, and an open world that that feels completely refined. Whether you've followed Spidey for years, or you're just jumping in for the first time, this one is a must play. But hey, before you swing off, my subscriber senses are tingling. Hit that subscribe button and tell us what you think so far. Alright, next up, a title that's always divided gamers. Death Stranding. And now it's returning, bigger, bolder, and even stranger with Death Stranding 2 on the beach. This time, Sam Porter Bridges journeys deep into a post-apocalyptic version of Mexico and Australia, trying to reconnect a broken world through the chiral network. Kojima's team has turned every dial to the max. Faster traversal, tighter combat, and that signature fusion of action, stealth, and connection systems now more polished than ever. Visually, it is breathtaking on the PS5, but it is the storytelling that truly lands the punch. It's bizarre, emotional, and unforgettable. Pure Kojima brilliance at its best. You'll be rebuilding paths, battling terrifying new BTs, and trekking across some of the most hauntingly beautiful environments ever created. It's a daring reimagining of, the Strand genre. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, keep on keeping on, because the future's looking wild. Now, Oblivion is making a comeback. And it finally looks like it stopped eating mud for breakfast. The remaster sharpens the visuals with cleaner lighting, smoother textures, and faces that no longer resemble melted candle wax. Cyrodiil actually feels like a world worth exploring now, not some half-remembered fever dream. Sure, the combat still has that classic jank, and the dialogue keeps that quirky Bethesda charm, but somehow it just works. You're swinging blades, yelling at cultists, and robbing nobles blind. Same chaos, just dressed in a brand new shine. The nostalgia hits harder now that the trees actually move with the wind, and the water reflects more than your past mistakes. It's still Oblivion, but this time, it doesn't try to crash every time you hit load game.
Of my life.
Alright, let us fly back to Japan. But now we were stepping into the neon-soaked streets of 1980s Tokyo. This one delivers a unique kind of open-world magic, a mix of gritty brawls and ridiculous side hustles that somehow blend perfectly together. In Yakuza 0, you switch between two legends, Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima, each rocking their own unique fighting style and tightly woven stories that cross paths in unforgettable ways. The world around them is dense, alive, and full of energy, packed with mini-games, side missions, and a cast of wild, over-the-top characters that bring constant humor. One moment you're managing a cabaret club, the next you're throwing down in a disco dance battle, and somehow it all fits perfectly. The story dives deep into loyalty, honor, and the gray zones of Japan's criminal world, while the combat stays slick, heavy, and endlessly satisfying. Yakuza 0 stands out because of its ability to mix heavy, emotional storytelling with that signature over-the-top craziness this series is famous for, making it a must-play for anyone craving a different flavor of open-world adventure. Now, here's one of those rare games where you don't to use fast travel. Not because it's a hassle, but because every ride through the world just feels incredible. From fog-covered peaks to sun-baked ruins, Horizon Forbidden West might just be one of the most breathtaking open worlds ever crafted. But it's more than just eye candy. The world is thick with detail, life, and layers of discovery waiting around every corner. It's absolutely packed with things to do. Once again, you step into the boots of Aloy, navigating a post-apocalyptic world where nature has reclaimed everything. Casually roam the land like it's normal. Combat remains as tactical and thrilling as ever, especially when you were trying to take down a towering Thunderjaw using only crafted arrows and sharp instincts. But the real magic lies in the world building. Every location tells a story. You'll stumble upon abandoned tech facilities filled with echoes of the old world, and factions each driven by their own tangled motives. Westisist Halambao, and side quests that actually feel worth doing. It's the kind of world you want to explore. Every mountain, ruin, and ridge calling you forward. And climbing a tall neck to uncover the map, still as cool and satisfying as ever. Now, shifting gears, all we need to do is deliver a letter to a lord. Kingdom Come. Deliverance 2 takes realism to another level. No dragons, no magic, just the raw, brutal reality of medieval Europe at its grittiest. And somehow, that's exactly what makes it so captivating. You're not some chosen hero. You're the blacksmith's son, thrown into the chaos of a war-torn world, of politics and survival after your entire village is burned to the ground. Every detail, from sword fighting to horseback riding, is rooted in pure realism. You've got to learn every skill, earn every win, and that grind makes every victory feel 10 times more rewarding. It's brutally authentic and deeply immersive. You'll wander through muddy backstreets and overhear townsfolk gossiping about your past actions. You might stumble into a monastery and end up disguising yourself as a monk for an entire quest. It is the kind of immersion that pulls you in completely, in a way few other games even dare to attempt. Compared to the original, this sequel improves on nearly everything. Your decisions hit harder, and the world itself feels more alive. Not built around icons on a map, but around stories that unfold naturally as you fight to survive its harshness. Now let's talk about a classic. There's not much left to say about Minecraft that hasn't been said before, yet somehow it still earns a spot here. If you're looking for true freedom, this is it. Minecraft isn't a open world in the usual Ubisoft sense. It has something far more limitless, a sandbox where your imagination builds the boundaries, not in the checklist kind of way. There's no HUD, no glowing trail telling you where to go. It's just you, your pickaxe, and a world that stretches endlessly in every direction. Want to build a massive castle? Do it. Want to reshape an entire mountain just because it's in your way? Go ahead. That's the pure magic of Minecraft. Total freedom to create, destroy, and start over over whenever you want. And even after all these years, it keeps evolving. With every new update, Mojang tweaks and adds something that breathes fresh life into the experience, making you want to start over in a brand new world. From sprawling cave systems to terrifying encounters with the Warden, or even redstone machines that function like real computers, Minecraft remains the ultimate sandbox where you make the rules. Now, onto a true cult favorite, a game that caught everyone off guard when Valheim dropped. Overnight, players were crafting Viking longboats, donning feathered capes, and setting sail through misty seas. It carries that survival game DNA, but with an oddly peaceful, almost spiritual atmosphere. You awaken in a purgatory-like Norse afterlife, surrounded by fog and mystery, and the game simply lets you learn by doing. No lengthy tutorials, no pop-ups holding your hand, just pure discovery. You chop trees, battle trolls, and build great halls worthy of Odin himself. Exploration here is on another level. Sailing across endless waters and spotting a faint plume of smoke on the horizon instantly sparks that "what is out there" feeling. Valheim proves an open world doesn't need ultra-realistic graphics or giant cities to feel alive. Sometimes, all it takes is atmosphere, mystery, and the perfect troll ambush. It's criminally underrated. A game that quietly reminds you why. It deserves a spotlight here on GameWise. Let's talk about Mad Max. Yeah, it has been around for a while now, but its open world still nails what this genre is all about. It's scorching, savage, and drenched in dust. Every rusted out vehicle, every sun-bleached rock feels like it belongs in that endless desert. And we've got to talk about the combat. Imagine the Arkham fighting system, but heavier, rougher, and more desperate. You're Max, clinging to life in the wasteland with nothing but your shotgun, your fists, and a car that's basically your partner in survival. The driving is where the magic really kicks in. You upgrade, reinforce, and turn your ride into a steel beast that defines who you are out there. Your magnum opus, your ultimate ride. You customize it, upgrade it, and then unleash it across the desert in chaotic convoy battles and heart-pounding chases. It's vehicular carnage done right, so if this one slipped under your radar, it's definitely worth going back for. It's a brutal world, but one that leaves a mark long after the dust settles. Now, vision shattered into countless fragments. Dying Light 2 turns its open world into a playground made of broken glass, sharp, dangerous, and thrilling. It's a vertical jungle filled with the undead, each one ready to tear you apart. And somehow, that chaos makes it incredible. You're sprinting across rooftops, vaulting over gaps, and gliding through an infected city like it's just another morning commute. Traversal here steals the spotlight, fast, fluid, and endlessly satisfying. But when the sun dips below the skyline, everything changes. Night in Dying Light isn't just darker, it's pure survival horror come alive. The real game begins. Once night falls, tougher infected crawl out from the shadows, your tools become scarce, and the tension goes through the roof. What truly sets this open world apart is how everything revolves around movement. At first, you're clumsy, terrified to step beyond the safe zones. But as you progress, you're chaining wall runs, vaults, and grapples together like a full-on parkour legend. The storytelling also shines more than expected. Characters feel real, not just quest markers handing out chores. If there's one downside, it's that the journey feels a bit too short. Though honestly, leaving players wanting more isn't always a bad thing. Bad thing. Warn me. Warn you about what? Alright, time for another zombie masterpiece. Days Gone didn't get the love it deserved when it first dropped. Early bugs, mixed reviews, and endless comparisons to other open world titles buried its potential. But for those who actually gave it a chance, there's a genuinely gripping experience waiting underneath all that noise. You play as Deacon St. John, a former biker turned survivor, roaming through a post-apocalyptic Oregon on his trusty motorcycle. And that bike isn't just a vehicle, it's your lifeline, your companion, your way to stay alive in a dying world. It's more than just transportation, it's your lifeline. You've got to keep it fueled, fixed, and upgraded, constantly balancing between freedom and survival. Thinking about checking out that eerie sawmill crawling with the infected? Better make sure there's enough gas in the tank to make it back alive. What really makes Days Gone shine is its atmosphere. It's soaked in loneliness. That haunting feeling that the world has already moved on without you. Here and there, small groups of survivors cling to what's left of civilization, trying to rebuild something worth living for. Is it flawless? Not quite. but there's something undeniably powerful about the way it captures isolation, struggle, and hope all at once. There is something special about a game that might be a little rough around the edges, but still overflowing with heart. A Days Gone isn't just another zombie title. It is a lonely road trip through the end of the world, with desperation sitting right there in the passenger seat. What's happening out there might be chaos, but here it almost feels alive. Now let's talk about a legend. The Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild is one of those rare games that completely redefined what open world truly means. It doesn't hold your hand. You step off the Great Plateau, and the entire world simply says go. In a way, it's a lot like Elden Ring. That same feeling of discovery, danger, and freedom all wrapped into one. There are no flashing icons or glowing arrows pointing the way. You just spot something strange in the distance, maybe a tower, a rock formation, or something you can't even describe, and your gut tells you to go there. That's the magic of it. Curiosity becomes your compass. Every system in this world connects beautifully with the next. You can set grass ablaze, catch the updraft, glide through the air, and drop a bomb mid-flight for an insane physics combo that just works. Everything reacts. Everything feels alive, like the world wasn't designed for you, but it still somehow exists perfectly around you. The world feels truly lived in. Shrines scatter the land, but so do odd travelers with stories that hint at a deeper culture hiding beneath the surface. It's a sandbox where every tiny detail has purpose, where even curiosity feels rewarded. Now here's one you might not have expected on this list. On paper, Nier, Automata's open world doesn't sound groundbreaking, but in practice, it's one of the most emotionally rich and thought-provoking spaces you'll ever explore. You play as androids 2B and 9S, waging a quiet war on a decaying Earth filled with eerie ruins and a constant sense of melancholy. The world itself becomes part of the storytelling, haunting, mysterious, and unforgettable. It's not the biggest world out there, but it's overflowing with atmosphere. You'll wander through wind-swept deserts, hiding buried secrets, explore cities swallowed by nature, and stroll through abandoned amusement parks that are somehow both haunting and beautiful. Combat is fast, fluid, and strangely graceful. Platinum Games at its absolute best. But what truly makes this open world unforgettable is how it feeds the story. Hidden messages, secret endings, and bizarre NPCs drop existential truths when you least expect it. Even the world itself shifts as the narrative unfolds, subtly rewriting what you thought you understood. Nier. Automata's brilliance lies in making every discovery feel like part of something deep. Nier, as open world, isn't teased about freedom just for the sake of it. It's about guiding you through an experience you feel more than you fully understand. And honestly, that's what makes it unforgettable. We've been seeing more worlds like this lately. Not sure why, but maybe it's because players crave something real. And speaking of real, you can practically smell the dust and the whiskey in this one. Red Dead Redemption 2 might just be the most lifelike open world ever built, not because of flashy graphics or polygon counts, but because of how everything behaves. Every NPC follows a daily rhythm. Every animal fits naturally into the ecosystem, and every moment feels alive in a way few games ever achieve. Every creature feels like part of a living food chain. You could lose hours fishing by a quiet river, hunting in the woods, or just riding your horse through misty swamplands. And somehow, it all feels like time well spent. You play as Arthur Morgan, an outlaw torn between loyalty and survival, and that inner conflict seeps into everything, from train robberies to quiet moments by the campfire with your gang. Put that away, Micah. The world overflows with tiny details, each one reacting to your choices and remembering what you've done. Rockstar didn't force the pace. It lets you breathe, wander, and truly live inside its world. Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't just played, it's experienced. Red Dead 2 isn't by T about racing through objectives. It's about existing in its world. It's one of the rare games that makes simply being there feel like the reward. Leaving here is peace. Now let's talk about one of gaming's greatest redemption arcs. No Man's Sky went from being the symbol of broken promises to one of the boldest comeback stories in history. Today, it stands as one of the most ambitious open worlds, or rather, open galaxies, ever created. You begin with just a ship, a multi-tool, and a mystery waiting to unfold. Then it hits you, the sheer scale. Endless planets, star systems, and black holes, all procedurally generated and entirely explorable. Procedurally generated doesn't mean lifeless, far from it. You'll find oceans teeming with strange creatures, derelict freighters drifting silently through space, and alien civilizations waiting to either trade with you or shoot at you. What truly makes No Man's Sky shine is the feeling of discovery. Want to build a base on a toxic planet just because the sunsets look incredible? Go for it. Feel like becoming a lone space hauler cruising between systems? Totally possible. This game doesn't just allow freedom, it celebrates it, and with every update, it keeps evolving. New stories, co-op adventures, VR exploration, even living ships that blur the line between machine and life. It's a galaxy that feels endless, because in a way, it is. And somehow, it just keeps getting better. Here, take this. It's Wiggenweld Potion. Now say what you will about lore baggage, but Hogwarts Legacy absolutely delivers on the fantasy of living inside the wizarding world. From the moment you walk through the castle gates, it's obvious the dev team poured their hearts into authenticity. Every corridor of Hogwarts is bursting with life, shifting staircases, secret passages, talking portraits. It's pure magic come alive. And the best part? The adventure doesn't stop at the castle walls. Step outside and the world opens up. No! Leave the castle. Jump on your broom and soar across the Scottish Highlands like it's just another day in class. Before you know it, you're rescuing hippogriffs, brewing potions in a forest cabin, and uncovering dark, twisting caverns tied to the forbidden arts. Combat packs more punch than you'd expect. Every spell hits with real impact, and chaining them together in duels feels closer to an action game than a traditional RPG. There's crafting, looting, and even magical creature taming, all woven together to make the experience feel rich and alive. Checkmate. It might not reinvent the genre, but step outside the castle, hop on your broom, and glide effortlessly across the Scottish Highlands like it's second nature. Before long, you're rescuing hippogriffs, brewing potions deep in the woods, and uncovering secret tunnels tied to the dark arts. Combat hits harder than expected. Every spell lands with impact, and chaining them together in duels feels more like a fast-paced action game than a typical RPG. There's crafting, looting, and even creature collecting, each system stacking perfectly to create depth and variety. Checkmate. It may not completely redefine the genre, but it doesn't need to. Hogwarts Legacy works because it's immersive, stylish, and simply a joy to exist in. For many players, that alone makes it something special. Now onto a masterpiece that respects your time, Ghost of Tsushima. It's one of those rare open worlds where every moment feels intentional, every sightline perfectly framed. You step into the armor of Jin Sakai, a samurai torn between his code of honor and the brutal reality of survival during the Mongol invasion of Tsushima. The island itself is stunning, a living painting that's equal parts beauty and sorrow, calm and chaos, peaceful, even as the land crumbles in war. Armed with your katana, shifting stances, and an arsenal of clever tools, every fight becomes a dance of precision. Sure, you can charge in swinging, but Ghost of Tsushima rewards patience. That one perfect parry means more than 10 reckless strikes. Personally, I've got a soft spot for the throwing weapons, clean, quick, and deadly. But it's not just about swordplay and poetic haikus. At its core, it is a story of tradition colliding with change, of how far one man is willing to go to protect his home, even if it means becoming something his ancestors would never recognize. His ancestors would never have recognized. It hits deeper than you go and expect, especially as Jin slowly sheds the man he once was to become the legend he needs to be. Even years later, Tsushima's world still stands strong, visually stunning, emotionally rich, and timeless. And if Ghost of Yotei wasn't quite your style, this right here is the definitive samurai experience. I love you both. We love you too. Oh my god. Fallout 4 might not earn the same praise as New Vegas, thanks to its simplified dialogue system, but it shines in one undeniable way. It is a wasteland that's genuinely fun to live in. The Commonwealth isn't just a setting, it's a living, breathing, post-apocalyptic world filled with stories at every corner. It's not some scorched, lifeless desert. It's a weird, vibrant, beautifully broken sandbox, packed with stories waiting to be uncovered. You're dropped into post-apocalyptic Boston, a parent desperately searching for their missing child. But like every Fallout game, the main quest is more of a suggestion than a path. The real magic lies in the side stories, stumbling into a vault where paranoia became an experiment, or tracking down clues left by a trenchcoat-wearing vigilante robot known as the Silver Shroud. That's where Fallout 4 truly shines. Those moments of discovery that turn a ruined world into something unforgettable. Then you wander into a half-collapsed diner, hit play on an old audio log, and suddenly you're knee-deep in a completely new subplot. That's the Fallout magic. Stories you don't chase, but stumble into while searching for something else entirely. And don't even get me started on the base building. I probably spent more time decorating settlements than finishing the main quest. Oh, and the mods. Endless. You can reshape the entire game if you want to. But if you're craving potions instead of power armor, there's always Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim. You know the memes, the countless re-releases, the mountains of mods. But beneath all that, it's still one of the most iconic open worlds ever built. It's still one of the most liberating open world experiences ever made. You step out of Helgen, the snow hits your face, and instantly, freedom. Go wherever you want. Join the Thieves Guild, hunt dragons, turn into a vampire, or a werewolf, or maybe both. The game doesn't judge, it just asks. So, what kind of chaos are you in the mood for today? Sure, the combat's not groundbreaking, but it gets the job done. The real hook is exploration, ancient ruins, hidden caves, mysterious dungeons, that constant thrill of walking into darkness, not knowing what's waiting on the other side. Rich, cursed, or somehow accidentally married to a Draugr. That's Skyrim for you. And yeah, some of the footage here might look a bit too clean. We were using a few mods, so expect the console versions to be a little rough around the edges. Still, it somehow rules after all these years. Now, if there's one game every open world fan should experience, it's The Witcher 3. It's not just massive, it's brilliantly crafted. Every side quest feels like its own standalone tale, written with care and purpose. You might start out helping an old woman find her frying pan and end up tangled in a full-blown murder mystery. CD Projekt Red built a world that's dark, layered, and alive in ways few others can match. Real, grounded, and heavy with consequence. You play as Geralt of Rivia, a battle-worn monster slayer with 2 blades and 0 tolerance for nonsense, searching for his adopted daughter across a war-torn land. But the real magic isn't at the destination. It is everything that happens along the way. A shattered village hiding a heartbreaking secret. A wedding that somehow spirals into a full-blown ghost hunt. Even the simplest contracts, which could have been mindless fetch quests, turn into complex moral choices that leave you second-guessing yourself. Sure, the combat's starting to show its age, but it's still slick, stylish, and full of depth. The true power of The Witcher 3 lies in its storytelling, with Novigrad standing tall as one of gaming's most unforgettable cities, overflowing with political intrigue and corruption. Skellige is wild, rugged, and mythic, and Blood and Wine, that expansion alone outshines entire full-priced games. Now, let's shift gears to neon lights and chrome streets. Cyberpunk 2077 had a rough launch, no sugarcoating that. But after years of updates, the Phantom Liberty expansion, and a ton of polish, it's finally become the game it was always meant to be. Night City is jaw-dropping. A maze of glowing alleys, towering megacorp skyscrapers, crime, decadence, and life all packed together. It's not sprawling like Skyrim or Zelda. Instead, it's tight, focused, and overflowing with detail. Every street corner feels handcrafted, as if someone personally designed it for you to stumble across. It feels like every block of Night City was built with a story to tell. You play as V, Merc, Rebel, Outcast, whatever version of yourself you choose to create. You're caught between body mods, digital ghosts, and decisions that actually hit hard. There's no filler here. The quests are some of the best written in gaming, full of tension, emotion, and consequence. By the time you hit the late game, the storytelling goes off the charts. Every choice cuts deep, and some will stay with you long after the credits roll. Give it at least 10 hours, and it'll sink its cybernetic claws right into you. Put it to someone's head. Pull the trigger. And now, Shrouded, still in early access but already turning heads. But even in early access, it already feels like something special. Shrouded stands out among survival games because it actually feels different. You're thrown into a dying world, consumed by a thick, unnatural mist. And it's not just for looks. The fog itself is deadly, slowly draining your life if you wander too deep. The further you push in, the harder it fights back. The hook here is its perfect mix of survival mechanics and action RPG depth. You'll build bases, scavenge for gear, level up your skills, all while fighting in real-time battles that demand timing and precision, dodging, parrying, spell casting, and taking down massive beasts. It's like Minecraft collided headfirst with Valheim, sprinkled with a dash of Souls-like challenge. What really makes this world shine is its sense of mystery and vertical design. You'll climb cliffs, glide across fog-covered valleys, and even dig tunnels just to stay one step ahead of the deadly mist. Every expedition feels like you are carving out a fragile pocket of safety in a world that was actively trying to erase you. It's still early in development, sure, but definitely one to keep on your radar. Now, let's rewind to a hidden classic. Sleeping Dogs didn't get the recognition it deserved when it first dropped, but man, this game is a true gem. Think GTA, but swap Los Santos for neon-lit Hong Kong, and trade gunfights for bone-crunching martial arts. All can gun battles here. Instead, you're throwing punches, kicks, and takedowns straight out of a Jackie Chan movie. You play as Wei Shen, an undercover cop walking a razor-thin line between loyalty to the badge and loyalty to the triads. The story goes to some dark places, but the world around it stays slick, stylish, and insanely fun to roam. You're weaving through traffic on a motorbike, sprinting across rooftops, busting into nightclubs, all drenched in that signature kung fu flair. Fans still rave about this one, and once you play it, you'll instantly understand why. It's not the biggest open world out there, but every inch of it feels alive and electric. It's not massive, but it's dense. Every block bursting with energy and unpredictable chaos. Now, let's jump into Ubisoft's latest leap forward, Assassin's Creed Shadows. This entry transports the series to 16th century Japan, delivering a fresh setting and two playable heroes, Yasuke and Naoe. The pair couldn't be more different. One embodies raw power, the other deadly precision. Together, they give players the freedom to tackle missions however they want. Brute force, silent infiltration, or a perfect mix of both. The open world looks stunning, brought to life with dynamic seasons, shifting weather, and attention to historical detail that makes feudal Japan feel truly alive. The changing seasons aren't just for show, they reshape how you play. Winter freezes lakes, opening new routes, while spring covers the land in thick foliage, perfect for stealth and ambushes. This kind of environmental interactivity adds a whole new layer of depth to exploration and strategy. Combat S also had a serious glow-up, blending that classic Assassin S Creed feel with modern touches. Breakable objects, smoother animations, and enhanced parkour make every movement feel dynamic. Especially with the new grappling hook that brings a bit of Sekiro-style vertical action into the mix. And for the first time, you can build your own spy network, sending agents across Japan to gather intel, mark targets, and uncover hidden opportunities before you strike. And use that intel to plan your assassinations with surgical precision. Honestly, I wasn't sure I'd enjoy it as much as Odyssey, but after spending time in it, Shadows might just be my favorite Assassin's Creed yet. Sit down and face forward. I know you need the money. At this point, GTA 5 isn't just a video game, it's a cultural icon. Even more than a decade later, its open world is still a masterpiece worth revisiting. Los Santos is pure chaos, equal parts comedy, crime, and creativity. One minute you're flying a fighter jet straight into a mountain. The next, you're golfing, racing supercars, or causing mayhem downtown just because you can. Or maybe you steal a tank, or just kick back and play a round of tennis. It's pure, unfiltered madness. Story-wise, it's a sharp, satirical crime saga starring three absolute maniacs, each with their own flavor of chaos. Switching between them never gets old. One moment you were pulling off a high-stakes heist as Michael. The next you're watching Trevor completely lose it somewhere out in the desert. It's a modern classic through and through, and with GTA 6 right around the corner, now's the perfect time to revisit it. As for GTA Online, it's an entirely different beast. Messy, unpredictable, sometimes broken, but somehow still overflowing with life, content, and wild energy. Or maybe you hijack a tank, or just chill playing tennis like crime's a day job. It's pure insanity from start to finish. The story is a darkly funny, chaotic crime ride, starring three unhinged characters with completely different energies. Switching between them never gets old. One minute you're running a slick heist as Michael, the next you're watching Trevor spiral into madness out in the desert. It's an absolute masterpiece of mayhem, a game that defined an era. And with GTA 6 on the horizon, there's never been a better time to revisit Los Santos. Then there's GTA Online, a whole other monster. It's messy, explosive, sometimes downright broken, yet packed with endless content and unpredictable fun that somehow keeps players coming back year after year. As Batman, you're not just fighting criminals, you're fighting to hold on to your sanity. The psychological tension here hits just as hard as the physical battles, constantly testing what it truly means to wear the cowl. Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill deliver performances that still stand unmatched, bringing both Batman and the Joker to life with raw emotion and intensity. The side missions deserve just as much credit, seamlessly folding Gotham's most infamous rogues into the larger story. You'll chase Firefly through burning skyscrapers, piece together the aftermath of twisted murders, and uncover mysteries that make Gotham feel more alive and more dangerous than ever. Those murder investigations add a real sense of urgency and depth to your role as the world's greatest detective. Now, Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid 5 is living proof that an open-world game can be both brilliant and completely bonkers. It's a sandbox built for experimentation, strategy, and the kind of creative chaos only Kojima could imagine. Like strapping balloons to goats just because you can. Don't ask, just accept the madness. Where it truly shines is in the gameplay. Every mission feels like a puzzle box of possibilities. Whether you are sneaking through dusty Afghan outposts, coordinating elaborate distractions, or pulling off the perfect stealth stealth takedown. The game rewards creativity in ways few others dare to try. Each mission plays out like a puzzle with a dozen different answers. Want to sneak in silently, taking out guards one by one? Go for it. Or maybe you'd rather kick down the door and go full one-man army. Just be ready to face the fallout. Metal Gear Solidify rewards creativity and patience, and punishes recklessness in the best possible way. No matter how you play, it is always fun seeing just how far you can push your luck before everything goes off the rails. Hope you enjoyed this journey, folks. If you did, don't forget to drop a like. It helps more than you know. And stay tuned, because next time, we're diving into 21 RPGs worth sinking 100 hours into. See you in the next one.